So it seems like Star Wars employees are attacking Star Wars Theory once again. Pablo Hidalgo is back attacking Star Wars Theory, this time in a very creative way. And like I said in my last video, this is nothing new for Star Wars employees, especially people who are working on the High Republic, especially people in the Lucasfilm story group, and especially people who are in Kathleen Kennedy's faction for the Lucasfilm Civil War. Yes, I'm saying it again, the Lucasfilm Civil War. Before you get triggered in the comments, I don't think people are in the Lucasfilm headquarters with lightsabers and blasters like I always say. It's not an actual war that's going on, it's just disagreements for the direction that Star Wars should go in. And that Reddit leak that we got a couple of weeks ago that was apparently from Kathleen Kennedy's camp kind of confirmed that by saying that there is no civil war, but then at the same time saying that there's different groups within Lucasfilm who disagree on the direction that Star Wars should go in, which is exactly what I am calling the Civil War. Obviously, I know that Kathleen Kennedy, I know that Pablo Hidalgo, I know that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are professionals. They're not actually going to fight with their fists inside of the Lucasfilm headquarters, but it's very obvious in the way that Jon and Dave treat the fans and the way that Kathleen Kennedy and Pablo Hidalgo treat the fans that they have very, very different philosophies on Star Wars. And really, if you never looked at Twitter, if you never kept up with the way that Kathleen Kennedy and Pablo Hidalgo treat the fans, just look at the content that they're creating. Look at the sequel trilogy and the High Republic and compare that to the Mandalorian and the Clone Wars Season 7. It's just so obvious how different those types of content are, and it's so obvious that people have different views on the direction that Star Wars should go, hence the Civil War. But like I said, Star Wars employees, or more specifically Pablo Hidalgo, has found a very creative way to troll Star Wars fans and attack Star Wars fans. So if you look at the picture that's on screen now, it's the Instagram post that was a virtue signal for Trans Day of Visibility that Star Wars posted. And the caption for this post says, "In honor of Trans Day of Visibility, we're proud to unveil an exclusive cover highlighting Tarek and Seret, trans non-binary Jedi currently featured in Marvel's The High Republic comic. We support trans lives and we are passionate and committed to broadening our representation in a galaxy far, far away." Now, we were all extremely mad at this, not because there's trans characters in Star Wars, you can calm your little angry ass down, but because this is the first time that a lot of people are seeing these characters. This is the first time that a lot of people are introduced to these characters, and the first thing they hear is that they're trans. It's so obvious that the focus is on virtue signaling, the focus is on the diversity, and the focus is not on the storytelling, it's not on the narrative. But Star Wars Theory pointed out something extremely interesting and extremely intriguing on his stream, and honestly, I didn't see it at all before he pointed it out on stream, but now that I'm looking at it more and more, I can really see what he's talking about, and that's that this is Star Wars Theory. These two characters are modeled after Star Wars Theory. They look exactly like him. They put Star Wars Theory in Star Wars and they made him a trans Jedi, a trans non-binary Jedi. In my eyes, that's the ultimate troll coming from Star Wars. That's the ultimate troll coming from Pablo Hidalgo, and once again, another creative way to attack the fans. They've been finding a lot of creative ways to attack the fans lately. We'll go into that later, but if you look at the picture, it really does look like Star Wars Theory. He has the chin, he has the cheekbones, he definitely has the lips, and obviously he's bald. And I just want to make it clear, when I say he, I'm referring to Star Wars Theory. I'm not referring to these trans non-binary Jedi. But at this point, we all know that Star Wars employees, especially the ones that work on the High Republic, Jon and Dave love us, but the ones that are working on the High Republic, the ones on Kathleen Kennedy's side, we all know that they don't like the fans, especially if you don't love every single thing that Disney Star Wars puts out, but you have to give them props. This is a very creative way to troll us. They just find more and more creative ways to troll us, to let us know that they don't like us. And you think that they don't insert people from real life into the Star Wars universe? And take a look at this. Paulo Hidalgo is a character in the High Republic, and Paulo Hidalgo was a renowned Jedi architect who designed the Jedi Temple on the Starlight Beacon space station. So Paulo Hidalgo, who does that sound like? Why does that sound so familiar? Maybe it's because it's literally Pablo Hidalgo inserting himself into Star Wars once again. Yes, I said once again because he has done this in the past with Star Wars Rebels. I'll put the picture of that on screen. And if you're still a little bit skeptical, if you still think that that might not be Pablo Hidalgo, if Paulo Hidalgo isn't close enough for you, or if that person in Rebels doesn't look like Pablo Hidalgo enough, or maybe you just think it's an extreme coincidence, then take a look at this tweet from Charles Soule himself, the author of the High Republic book that Paulo Hidalgo is in. Someone tweeted at Charles Soule and said, "Designed by renowned Jedi architect Paulo Hidalgo, Pablo Hidalgo, question mark, at Charles Soule." Charles Soule responded and said the renowned Jedi architect himself. So Charles Soule pretty much confirms that that is Pablo Hidalgo in Star Wars, and really, I don't have that much of a problem with it. I really don't care. I don't really understand Pablo Hidalgo's obsession with inserting himself into Star Wars because he's obviously not a Star Wars fan. So what does he gain from inserting himself into Star Wars? There's no way that a Star Wars fan would treat other Star Wars fans the way he treats them. There's no way that a true Star Wars fan would make content like the High Republic, would make content like the sequel trilogy. Even though I don't personally hate the sequel trilogy that much, I do recognize that there are a lot of elements in the sequel trilogy that just aren't true to Star Wars. And Pablo Hidalgo claims to play a huge part in the storytelling for the sequel trilogy. He claims to be the head of the Lucasfilm story group, so he inserted himself into Rebels, and then he inserted himself into the High Republic as a renowned Jedi architect. And while Pablo Hidalgo was inserted as a renowned Jedi architect, they insert Star Wars Theory as a trans Jedi. The Star Wars employees that work on the High Republic, the Star Wars employees that are working for Kathleen Kennedy directly are so petty, and the people who are under Kathleen Kennedy and Pablo Hidalgo are so brainwashed as well to think exactly like they do. I mean, we talked about Daniel Jose Older yesterday responding to Rian Johnson possibly directing a Mandalorian episode, and his response to that was, that would be amazing. He was so happy that Rian Johnson might be directing a Mandalorian episode, and do you know why that is? Well, I don't know either, and I believe that Daniel Jose Older has no idea why he's happy about that either, but he's brainwashed to love everything about Star Wars that a lot of people hate about Star Wars. That's what Kathleen Kennedy, that's what Pablo Hidalgo, that's what their entire faction does. They hate Star Wars fans who don't like the Disney sequels. They hate all Star Wars fans who don't blindly love everything that Disney Star Wars puts out and only like the original trilogy, or Star Wars fans who just like stuff that stays true to George Lucas and the true Star Wars. And then Daniel Jose Older responds to that and says, if nothing else, for the cosmic cognitive dissonance it would cause. He's literally brainwashed by Kathleen Kennedy and Pablo Hidalgo to want to see the fandom in turmoil. He wants to see everyone who doesn't love Disney Star Wars, who doesn't like the Disney sequels and only likes the originals and the prequels, he wants to see all those fans angry. He wants to see all those fans mad and sad. He does not want to please you, and it's proof that some of this stuff that they're putting in the High Republic, like Geode, is just a straight up troll to make us angry, to make us mad. We all kind of speculated that when Geode first came out, when they had a vessel named Vessel, when they have Leox Jossi. An anagram for Leox is gay when he's literally gay and wants to have sex with everything. We all thought they might be trolling us. Maybe they're trying to make us angry with this stuff that they're putting in Star Wars. That's absolutely ridiculous. And this is just proof. Daniel Jose Older tweeting this out, them putting Star Wars theory into Star Wars as a trans Jedi, is proof. Not only are they putting their agenda over the storytelling, but they're also putting trolling Star Wars fans who don't like the sequel trilogy over their storytelling. It's getting a little bit ridiculous at this point, but you have to admire their creativity with inserting Star Wars theory into Star Wars as a trans Jedi. But let me know what you guys think about Pablo Hidalgo inserting himself into Star Wars, about them inserting Star Wars theory into Star Wars as the trans Jedi. And do you think that they're trying to troll the fans like I think they are with Geode and with the vessel called Vessel, with Pablo Hidalgo being in these different Star Wars projects, with them inserting Star Wars theory into these Star Wars projects? Or do you think that it's just pure coincidence? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you want to support the channel, check out all of the new merch that I just dropped. The link to that will be in the description. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on Twitter or join the Discord, both of those links will be in the description as well. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope to see you on the next one.